Hello everyone! I hope you're ready for another adventure, because today Wayne reads A Treasure of Literature. A guide dog puppy grows up. Always remember that as we go through these amazing adventures and read these outstanding stories, all you have to do is press the CC button in your YouTube link in order to follow along with the words. Now I think Bumblebee will be perfect to join us for today's adventure. Now that Bumblebee's here, let's jump in. Treasury of Literature. A guide dog puppy grows up. Puppies that grow up to be guide dogs spend their first 12 weeks of their lives at a training center. They are tested to make sure they are well behaved and healthy. Then it is time for the next stage of dog training. When a guide dog puppy is about 3 months old, it goes to live with a family. This family has volunteered to care for the puppy while it grows up. Honey's a new home with a 9-year-old named Amy and her family. Amy loves dogs and is eager to take care of one. Like Amy, many puppy raisers are 4-H club members. 4-H is a program that offers kids, usually in rural and suburban areas, the opportunity to do real-life projects in their homes, on farms, or in their communities. To become a puppy raiser, Amy filled out an application, had an interview with her 4-H project leader. The 4-H Puppy Placement Department at Guide Dogs for the Blind gave Amy a pamphlet on puppy care and a chart to record Honey's growth and development. They also provide a dog collar showing the telephone number of Guide Dogs for the Blind, Honey's identification number in case she ever got lost. Puppy raisers are responsible for the complete care of their dogs during the 15 months or so that they have them. They must house train and feed the puppies and keep them clean and healthy. The dog is treated as a family pet and learns to live with people. One of the things Honey enjoys the most is playing with Amy and her friends. During the time Amy has Honey, she keeps track of all their activities. Once a month, they go to the puppy club meetings where they learn about puppy care and exchange news with other club members. Amy also teaches Honey simple commands so she will behave when they go out. An important part about being a puppy raiser is getting the dog used to going out into the community, since this will be the dog's job when it is working with a blind person. So when Amy or her parents go to the supermarket, bank, or even sometimes work or school, they often take Honey with them. Ordinarily, animals cannot go into most places and businesses unless they are helping a handicapped person. Honey's green jacket tells people she is a guide dog puppy. When Honey wears the jacket, people stop Amy to ask her about being a puppy raiser. By the time Honey is 1.5 years old, she has grown from a bouncy young puppy to a well-mannered adult dog. Her soft puppy cut has grown dark and silky. Her body is filled into its grown-up shape. In every way, Honey has become a real member of Amy's family. But soon the time comes for Honey to go back to the guide dog campus and begin her formal training. Amy knows she has played an important part in getting Honey ready to help a blind person, but she wishes Honey didn't have to go. Amy's mother drives them to the guide dog campus. A staff member greets them at the car and explains the next steps of Honey's training. Before they leave, Amy gives Honey an extra hug. "I'll be back for your graduation," she says. On her arrival to the guide dog campus, Honey is given a new collar and put into the receiving kennel. First, the instructor checks her over and measures her height and weight. The veterinarian then gives Honey a thorough examination and x-rays her hips. He wants to make sure she will not develop any problems that could prevent her from walking properly. If Honey did not measure up exactly to guide dog standards, either physically or later in training, she would be made available for adoption. Amy would have the first chance to adopt her, but if for some reason Amy didn't want Honey, she would be offered to someone else. Even though a dog may not be quite right with a blind person, it can still make a perfect pet. Only about half the dogs successfully complete every stage of the training and become guide dogs. Both male and female dogs can become guides. A few of the dogs with especially good characteristics are used as breeders. These dogs live with families in the communities except when it is time for breeding, or when the females are due to give birth to puppies. The rest of the dogs are spayed and neutered because a dog guide cannot leave its blind partner to mate or have puppies. After completing her checkup, Honey is moved into her new training kennel. "Hello, Honey," says Terry as he snaps a leash onto her collar. "Today, you and I are going to start walking together. If all goes well, you will be ready to be a guide in 5 or 6 months." Terry is Honey's instructor, and every day he spends some time working with her. At first, Terry teaches Honey to sit and stay and to obey other basic commands. When Honey follows his instructions, He pat her on the head and tell her she's doing a good job. In all of her training, the only reward Honey needs is praise. Like most dogs, Honey is eager to please and learns quickly. Each step of the training process helps Honey to learn skills she will need later in guiding a blind person. For instance, if a blind person drops something, the dog must know how to retrieve it. Early in her training, Honey learns to pick up an object and give it to Terry. Each instructor is responsible for 10 to 15 dogs at a time. In the kennels next to hers, Honey can hear other dogs. She watches as instructors take these dogs out one at a time for their training sessions. 3 times a day, all the dogs in Honey's kennels are let out to a large fenced area where they can run freely and exercise. This is also a chance for the dogs to get to know each other. Dog guides must be comfortable around other animals so they do not become afraid or aggressive. After several weeks of working Honey on a leash, Terry is ready to add harness training to her workout. Although Honey's 4-H jacket has helped to get her used to wearing something on her back, it will take a while before she completely is at ease with the new harness. Until now, Honey has walked beside Terry, but during the harness training lessons, he has to teach Honey to pull him. Honey listens to Terry's commands to know whether she should pull him forward, turn left or right, or stop. A dog guide is very intelligent, but it cannot know where a blind person wants to go without instruction. The dog and the person must work together to get safely to their destination. Most of Honey's workouts are in downtown San Rafael. To get there, Terry takes her in a large van with several other dogs who are being trained. When Honey's turn comes, she always jumps eagerly out of the van, ready to start working. 6 months go by. In the final part of her training, Terry asks Honey to lead him on walking as usual, but this time his eyes are covered by a blindfold. For safety, another trainer walks closely behind in case Honey makes a mistake. But the other trainers isn't needed this time, because Honey guides Terry perfectly, just as has she been taught. Honey has passed all her tests. Now she is ready to be placed with a blind person. Not all blind people want to have a guide dog. Some prefer to use a cane or to have other people guide them. Some do not like animals or don't want the responsibility of taking care of a dog. However, any legally blind person over the age of 16 can apply to guide dogs for the blind for a dog. After an extensive interview, those people ready for the responsibility to learn to live and work with a guide dog come to the Guide Dogs for the Blind campus. Usually, there are 16 students in the class. During the 4 weeks of training, they live in the dormitory together, 2 to a room. The students are of all ages and come from a variety of backgrounds. Some of them have been blind their whole lives, and others have lost their sight more recently. While there are many different kinds and causes of blindness, all the students share the problem of how to get around without being able to see. When Ann Gels arrives on campus to begin her guide dog training, Terry meets her. He will be one of the instructors for her class. During the school year, Ann works as a teacher for blind children. Like many of them, she has been blind her whole life. She wants a dog to help her get to and from her job. Like other new students at the Guide Dog for the Blind, she is excited about getting a dog, and at the same time a little worried about everything she will have to learn. During the first days on campus, the students learn their way around and get used to their daily routine. Even though they do not have dogs yet, they have learned how to give correct commands. Terry pretends to be a guide dog named Juno as he teaches each student how to move and speak to a guide dog. "I feel a little silly," says Anne, "because I know you aren't a real dog." "I know," says Terry, "but I can tell you when you make a mistake, and a real dog can't." Finally, on their 4th day on campus, the students are ready to meet their dogs for the first time. That morning, a kennel worker gives Honey a bath. "Today is an important day," she says, "and I want you to look your best." When Honey is clean and dry, Terry comes to get her. Together, they walk across campus to meet Anne, who will then be Honey's new partner. Over the last 6 months, Terry and the other instructors have gotten to know all the dogs very well. Like people, each dog has its own personality. After meeting the new students and reviewing their needs and desires, Terry and the other staff members carefully match each person with one of the dogs. "Hello, Anne," says Terry. "Here's Honey. She's a beautiful russet-colored golden retriever. I picked her especially for you because you both are lively personalities." Anne laughs and reaches out to scratch Honey under the chin. Honey stretches her neck with pleasure. "Hello, Honey," Anne says. "I can't wait to get to know you better. We're going to have a lot of fun together." Wow, that was a lot of fun learning about guide dog puppies and what they need to do to learn. What did you think, Bumblebee? I like that part too. We'll see you in the next adventure, okay? And we'll see you in the next adventure, here with Wayne Reads. Thank you for joining us, and we can't wait to see you again. Bye-bye.